77, and Sparkover, they'll be going with a strength HP build, concentrating on high hit points towards the end of the game. And Azrael, Ravenheart, and McGrew will be a strength agility build. And they're off and running. Let's see what we get in the throne room.
At least I believe McGrew went with agility. And those are wings I just saw, right?
Wings and an extra key, I believe they're going to have. So they could potentially use the wings and start off with 2 keys. And JJ is doing just that. And some of them may choose to hold on to the wings and use 1 key. We'll see. But using the wings is going to allow them to check the treasury and hold on to a key if they don't find gold in the treasury, which has the harp and another wings, and there's gold in the top left. So that will allow them to buy more keys right now, and they'll set themselves up for a potential gold grind later in the seed.
Of course, that requires us to find the mountain cave most likely, and then hope that there's a strong enemy to take you out in that situation. Now, I like what our runners are doing right now. JJ Schmidt and Sparkover are not only purchasing keys, but about to check out what cave is at Tanjigil Castle.
And a quick status check tells us that only strength of 7, at least on the strength HP side. They'll, at a strength of 7, they'll be looking pretty much for red slimes and drakeys, unless they can find an early town to purchase perhaps a copper sword or something like that. Now, it looks like JJ is going to be going through this cave, which I assume is probably Swamp South.
Likely with that, Werewolf.
Yeah, one of the things, if it is Swamp South, if you get a lucky run through there, it could potentially back into the backside of Garanham, which has 3 more chests available. So he took 1 shot at it, basically death warped back to the throne room, and now he's going straight out and fighting red slimes. As I said, with strength 7, you don't want to be fighting much more than red slimes and maybe drakeys until you get those first 5 experience points. Luckily, there are red slimes available in the initial zone.
Alright, I did catch the status screens on both McGrew and JJ Schmidt. We do have confirmation McGrew is going strength agility.
So it looks like all the runners have pretty much finished up with the early running around and getting the keys and checking the throne room, and JJ's off to an early lead. As we noticed, he did find a ghost and ended up running away. It's just a little bit too tough right now. But this red slime will bring him up to level 2 for an early lead.
Let's see those stat boosts, shall we?
There is a town actually across the water in the middle of that swamp, but it's a little bit difficult to get there just yet. Also, Sharlock is immediately visible right off to the west, about 10 paces to the west of Tanjigil Castle, which is kind of amusing as well. A couple of scorpions have put JJ down, and let's see how everybody else is doing here, trying to get to level 2.
Well, for the strength, the HP side, that looked like a decent one. That was 14 hit points, 4 magic points, and 5 strength. I did not notice any new spells, though.
Yeah, so 5 strength immediately puts ghosts and magicians into play, as long as they don't have any special abilities. Now, JJ's walked just a short distance away, and he's running into Magiwyvern, so it seems like the zone might be a little bit offset towards the southeast. So they're going to want to make a note of that, and if they want to find the north-south zones, or the east-west zones for that matter, they have to kind of keep in their mind how those zones are orientated. And you probably could walk through that swamp and around if you had enough hit points. Obviously, they don't have that quite yet, but they're going to want to check out that town as soon as they have any hit points.
Or as soon as we get a heal or heal more. In the meantime, JJ Schmidt is going for that ghost, and takes it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, JJ had a couple of 100 gold when he was done with that early game, but all these deaths have put him down close to 0. If he could have made a run for that town, he would have been able to afford a copper sword, which would have allowed him to fight more significant enemies earlier on, but just wasn't reachable.
Well, I think I just heard the sound of a level up. What do we got here?
Yeah, level 3 now for JJ. It's got 3 more power, no spells. So that is going to put him up to strength of about 15. And if he can find some magicians nearby, they are clearly in play now. Everyone else still on level 1, I believe.
Well, Sparkover encountered a magician, but chose to run away. Wolflord for McGrew chooses to reset.
Yeah, Sparkover working on this Drakey. If she can outlast it, this will give a level up to level 2 for Sparkover. And McGrew already on level 2, while Azrael still 1 hit away from level 2 on this red slime. And an excellent hit on the Scorpion puts JJ up to level 4. So he's off to an early experience lead. Let's see if he learns some spells here. And 21 power is going to get him started. 21? He can definitely look for some intermediate zones like this Metal Scorpion, perhaps.
I think you spoke a little soon there, Up.
Yeah, they don't quite have the defense right now to withstand the hits from those enemies, but you know, the power, they're a little power heavy right now, but he is going to want to find something more significant. Maybe he's going to want to find more of those Scorpions. He should be able to one-shot or maybe two-shot the Scorpions right now. And he's going back into the throne room now to grab a few more items. There's a key in there, so this is kind of free, what he's doing. It's not costing him a key. He can refill on that gold chest for free, basically. So now I think he's going to make a run to that town on the other side of the swamp, and perhaps actually raiding this gold chest a few more times with what's known as a ghetto gold grind. He doesn't know yet what he's looking for, but I think he's maybe looking to get at least maybe some broadsword money, which is 1,500 gold. So great strategy here by JJ in the early game. Maybe he'll go back in one more time. Let's see.
Question is, how many times will it be? Right now, all of our featured 4 are at level 2 experience, and McGrew is making a run for the town. But
he's got 1 hit point. Miscalculation.
He thought he could get ahead, but apparently not, for thou art dead. I will eventually get the tone for that right.
Yeah, JJ is doing this several times, and at the end, he may actually do a safety save in case he runs into some enemies in the swamp while he's making his way over. He doesn't have that much more additional HP to spare. It's going to cost upwards of 20 HP just to step through that swamp to get to the town. So, see how many times he picks up this chest here before making his way over. If that turns out to be Hawksness, for example, which we know now by Sparkover getting there, it is Hawksness. So this gamble here by JJ may not pay off.
Commentator's blessing or curse in this case? I mean, we do have a possible search spot, assuming we can actually take out the Guardian.
It's just that he hadn't actually seen the town yet, so going back in that many times for this grind, it ended up costing him a couple of minutes, but he'll find out the hard way right now and see what he wants to do about it. He is probably annoyed by that, and now he can't even get back out of this swamp, so he's going to suicide out. It looks like he did not make the safety save, otherwise he could have reset and held on to that gold, but now he's lost half of it. He's going to have to continue on from here.
In the meantime, everyone has gone up to level 3. If I've seen the level ups correctly, I don't think the difference between strength HP and strength agility matters as far as level ups go. At least no, wait, there is a difference.
Yeah, it will gradually make a small bit of difference on each level up, and so now JJ is deciding that he can handle wolves with this high power stat that he has on level 4. And look at the terrain kind of around Tantegel. It looks like there's water all around, and they may end up being forced south through that swamp in order to proceed to the rest of the map, unless they want to try going through that swamp cave again and seeing what's on the other side of that.
Alright, I will admit I am using a little bit of a cheat sheet. I figured out the level gains that we had missed. Azrael Ravenheart did gain 6 HP, 8 MP, 3 Strength, and 1 Agility from going from 2 to 3.
Yeah, so by the end of the seed, once they're into the double-digit levels,
Speaking of
JJ
double
and
digits,
Sparkover. Ooh.
From level 3 to level 4 for Strength Agility, it is 2 HP, 3 MP, 21 Strength, 5 Agility.
Yeah, that 21 Strength is the same as what JJ acquired. So that they're both, all 4 runners have the Strength stat. So they'll have the same Strength gains. It'll be more the hit point gains versus the agility gains that will end up being different towards the end. And we'll have to see if that comes into play, as everyone has their own preference on that. The HP builds will have a little bit more HP by the end of the seed, and sometimes that'll allow you to fight the Dragon Lord a level or 2 earlier than you would otherwise if the HP is borderline, in the high 90s or so. Whereas the Strength Agility may allow you to dive through Charlotte Castle a little bit easier with more defense power and more ability to run away from monsters. So,
well, JJ Schmidt may have an advantage on that right now. Level 5 grants the sleep spell, but otherwise didn't grant much else. It even granted I think what some call an empty eye level, because one of them was explicitly 0.
Yeah, as soon as he basically death warps out of this situation where he has 2 HP, I expect him to go up and find that wolf again, and they're highly susceptible to sleep, and they're worth about 40 experience. So, he knows where that is, up in the north zone. Right now, he's just picking off some lesser enemies, trying to get to level 6 before dying. He's got just a handful of experience points to go before he gets there.
Azrael has discovered Hawk's Nest and discovers a metal scorpion. JJ Schmidt also discovers a scorpion. Not the best combination, after all.
Yeah, so we have to see now what these runners decide for strategy, as far as there are some grinding options available. Like JJ right now is going north towards where he found that wolf. The other thing is they may want to pretty soon. Oh, and it looks like the map does continue through to the west. I didn't realize. But we can see on McGrew's side there's a space behind Charlotte Castle, so it continues off in that direction. But the other option is they may want to revisit that swamp cave again and see what's on the other side of that. And a sleep spell actually missed on the wolf, which is extremely unlucky. So JJ goes down to the wolf attack. Sleep works almost every time on a wolf, just so happened that time it didn't. So he took a death there. That was a little unfortunate, but he's just going to go right back to that zone. The wolf is a very good enemy at this stage of the game, because they are worth 40 experience and quite a bit of gold as well.
Sorry about that. I was a little bit shocked by, I think that was a 1 out of 16th shot where it missed.
Yeah, when spells miss when they're really not supposed to, it's aggravating for the runners, of course, but it is part of the game. There's randomness all throughout, and McGrew is making his way back through the swamp cave, as mentioned, one of the possibilities. Goldman, unfortunately, puts a stop to that, so nobody's actually made it through the swamp cave yet. JJ grabbing that gold chest again, and he maybe is making a dash for the swamp cave with a little bit of gold in hand.
Well, level 6 certainly gave enough of one. 13 HP, 3 MP, 3 Strength, 4 Agility. I didn't see a spell gain, though.
Yeah, so once they get up into this level 6 kind of region where it starts to be a little bit more time in between levels, if they still don't have healing ability yet, no heal and no heal more, it starts to become a little bit tricky to explore the map with nothing but potentially herbs. Now, they haven't even found a shop yet to buy herbs. So, for example, this Star Woman's probably going to put an end to JJ's exploration here, and he just didn't get very far. But he did find out that it does not back into Garanham. So the chests in the backside of Garanham will have to wait a little bit longer to be explored. And with that knowledge, it looks like he is deciding not to go back through there. There's not really much benefit for going back through now. He is going to cast Sleep on this wolf, and I like the strategy by JJ here. I think he's making the right move. Meanwhile, Sparkover is attempting to battle this Wolf Lord with the Sleep spell, and they're worth quite a bit, and she decides now to run away. But there are some decent enemies in this swamp cave. The Wraith and the Wolf Lord are basically the next level of enemy after the wolf. And so once you're up to level 6 or 7, if you really need one more level, you might want to hang out in there for a little bit and fight some wolf lords and some wraiths. And Azrael is heading west from Charlock to see if he can make any progress in that direction.
Yeah, as Beta Strip in chat mentions, what a seed, and hello Progressive Bottleneck. This seed right now, it's a grind, effectively.
Yeah, I like this seed though, because they have, it's interesting, because they have the sleep spell. They're going to need to take advantage of that. Azrael's managing to make quite a bit of progress exploring the western side. Of course, the red dragon is almost definitely going to put him down. But, you know, they have to think through this now. They're going to have to balance how efficiently can I get more experience versus when do I need to start exploring the map. And again, without any ability to heal yourself and without any significant spells such as Hurt More, it becomes a little bit tricky. I like JJ's move of using the sleep spell against metal scorpions and wolves. I think that's the best move right now until he gets to level 7. And now Azrael is going to take a shot at the swamp cave. So everybody's exploring the various options. McGrew made it up to the same area, and he also finds the red dragon in basically the exact same tile on the map. And he also goes down in a blaze of glory. And Sparkover seems to be grinding close to the castle, a little bit further behind, still on level 5. I guess all the runners are on level 5 except for JJ at this point.
Yeah, JJ is on level 6, but right now hoping to get to level 7, I think. But doesn't have a lot of HP. Able to take out
Also,
the
not sure. I wasn't, I guess, watching closely enough. I don't know if any of the runners actually managed to get all the way over onto the search spot in Hawk's Nest just to see what that was. Because at some point they're going to want to gauge whether or not, you know, when's the right time to go back and do that. Because the armor could be sitting right there.
I don't think anyone has gotten to the Guardian spot, or if they have, certainly hasn't beaten the Guardian.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to beat anything that would be there right now, but for example, if they could know that it's an Axe Knight, then as soon as they learn Hurt More, they could make a beeline over there, just as an example. So if nobody knows the information yet, then they'll just gauge by, you know, how strong they are with these various level ups.
Sparkover did go, I think that's level 6 now.
Yep, level 6 for Sparkover. And she is finding the Wolf Lords as well. There's a zone a little bit to the northwest of Tanteagle that has random monsters. And they seem to have these Wolf Lords. I think they also had Magic Wyverns, if I remember. I feel like they're still a little bit too weak to be fighting those. They should be sticking more to the east where the wolf and the metal scorpions are hiding.
And here's level 7. What do we got? Power 4, Speed 5, HP 2, Magic 16, and 2 spells. Heal and Hurt More. Nice!
Yeah, that's going to get things rolling for JJ. One thing he may want to do after dying, you know, the next time he dies here, he may want to go right back into Hawk's Nest now. You know, with full resources. Right now he's kind of low on resources, so he'll continue now to look for this Now is the perfect time to go into this zone with the Magic Wyvern and the Wolf Lord. Both really good Hurt Moreable enemies that are always one shot with Hurt More. Stone Man, on the other hand, not so great, but those two aforementioned monsters worth a lot of experience. Magiwyvern in particular, I think, is worth 83. And the more he can find that guy right now, the faster he'll be up at level 8. And now with this death, I wonder if he's going to go right back to Hawksness. Let's see.
Actually, a part of me wonders if he'll go through Swamp Cave.
Yeah, Swamp Cave, the cave itself had some decent enemies, the Wraith and the Wolf Lord. So once you have Hurtmore, those are some great enemies to come across. And he is indeed going to check out the Hawksness spot. Because if the Erdrick's armor is here, it really makes things interesting. Unfortunately, he is not going to survive this battle with the Armored Knight. But if it does happen to be the armor, all that swamp that's around there to the south can be traversed without taking damage, for example. So let's see how many times JJ goes back there, or if he's just going to start grinding now.
I'm going to put this question up to chat here. Right now on screen are the present player's stats. Would you go to Hawksness, or would you attempt to go through Swamp Cave? Let us know now. And yes, DJ Dragonflame, we also have Red Dragons showing as a Sparkover just learned.
Yeah, Demon Knight, another enemy in Hawksness that he doesn't want to run into just yet. Not a Hurtmoreable enemy, so it makes it a little bit difficult when your strength score is still a bit low and your HP is a bit low. So that is one of the things to be aware of when you get an early Hurtmore. There are some monsters like the Wizard or the Demon Knight, Red Dragons, are just not going to care about your Hurtmore spell. So, as you mentioned, JJ now is doing an about face and he's going back through the Swamp Cave. So, interesting. But as we noted, there are some enemies that are worthwhile right in the swamp. But he'll probably make his way through and start exploring on the other side.
So, everyone in chat believes that Hawksness is the better play, but considering the Wraith Knights... Oh, hold on, JJ Schmidt is out!
Yeah, he made it about 2 steps out last time and got ripped by a Star Wyvern right out here, but now he's a bit stronger, and he should be able to make it a bit further. Now, this looks like... Nope, never mind. We saw a northwest corner from just regular exploration, but it doesn't quite look the same to me. So this is indeed a second island. Once in a while, it's all one big continent, but so far I think this is a separate continent.
I don't think I've ever seen a seed where it's one continent. Also, level up. What do we got here? We have Agility 7, HP 9, MP 1, not a great one.
Yeah, no additional spells. He does have Repel, by the way, which isn't that significant yet, but I think he ought to be using it if he can. Enemies like, ghosts and Drakies are just no longer worth your time. So, still taking the time to fight these Poltergeists for 15. We're still kind of early in the game, but he's making great progress exploring the second continent. Unfortunately, we have not seen a lot of locations yet. I believe only Tanteagle, both sides of the Swamp Cave, Sharlock, and Hawksness have been found. So that's 5 out of 16 locations pretty late into the game here at 23 minutes. We need to find some towns and some dungeons to get this seed rolling here.
I solemnly swear I did not roll Chaos Mode by mistake.
JJ is the only one that's been using this tactic of getting the free gold chest every time he dies, which I like it. When there's a magic key in here, it does not cost you a key to grab this gold. And if he happens to find a town, it would be great if he had the gold to be able to buy, a weapon or something. So I like that play. He's got, 800 and change, enough to buy a large...
Hold on. We have Garanham, I believe?
Oh, Azrael Ravenheart finds the first town, and it is Garanham, and he does have keys, so he can check the chests in the back as well as the basement behind. First he's going to, I thought maybe he would check the weapon shop first, but sometimes you're better off looking to see if there's some gold in these chests. That would help. And there it is. So now he could maybe perhaps afford a large shield if he has something cheap that he can sell, like the cursed belt that he just found. So he could go back to that weapon shop, see if he could grab a large shield, or maybe a weapon. First, he's going to check out the basement, and it's Stones of Sunlight Cave. And there's another free chest back here containing more gold. So potential ghetto gold grind available if there's something like a full plate in the shop here. Let's see if he checks that shop out now while the rest of our runners continue their grind.
Definitely going to check the shop. What do we have here? Silver shield available if you really want to save all the money. Otherwise...
Yeah, he should definitely go back in one more time for the broadsword. Go get the chest one more time. Come back and grab the broadsword, and then just make a note that the flame sword and the silver shield are both here in case you ever set up a real gold grind.
How many keys does Azrael have right now?
Well, we just saw he has 3 keys. I would definitely spend one more key here and grab the gold. He's going to go with selling the cursed belt and other items. He could get to 1,500 that way as well. Might be a little short. Nope, he made it to 1,500. So that's a great tactic there, selling the cursed belt and saving the key.
Also sold the dragon scale, I think. Hopefully it was equipped beforehand. I'm assuming so. In the meantime, McGrew has gone to level 7, and JJ Schmidt going to level 9. JJ Schmidt's level up is...
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. This is interesting. He's actually decided to sell the death necklace, which early in the game, that's a bit of a gamble. It could be kind of something that you want to hold on to. But he saw something in there that he wanted to buy. I'm not sure actually why he sold that right now. He did not need the money, I don't think. So that's curious. 1,200 gold for the death necklace, and that's a one-time acquisition. You can't go back and pick up another death necklace, so he will be without that for the rest of the game. But he's using that money to stock up on herbs, because as we mentioned, they have no way to heal themselves. But sorry about that. Go ahead.
We had 2 level ups that I wanted to cover. Going from level 8 to level 9 for JJ Schmidt. That... not too much to worry about. Maybe there was a spell, but I had missed it. McGrew went to level 7 as well. That one... we know of the 2 spells that were learned. But as far as stats go... looks like 16 MP and 5 agility.
Yeah, I guess we can mark off Hurtmore now for Sparkover and McGrew. And Sparkover has found the Stone Man in the Hawksness tile. Not the greatest thing to find there, but there is some chance of landing a Hurtmore there on the Stone Man. If you can manage to land 2 in a row, it's at least sometimes enough to take down that Stone Man. So she looks like she's not going to try again, but I would be tempted to try that again, because they have enough HP now to withstand 1 physical assault from a Stone Man. If you happen to land 2 Hurtmores in a row, like we said, the Erdrick's armor could be lying right there.
What is the chance of Hurtmore missing on the Stone Man again? I don't have those stats pulled up.
Yeah, I don't have it exactly, but it's around 50-50. It's either like a 7 out of 16 or a 9 out of 16 or something like that. So it can be done, but it's like it would require some luck to land 2 in a row. And then every once in a while, he still doesn't die after 2 Hurtmores because they have high HP. So, but Sparkover finds her way into Garenham now, and I wonder if she is going to do a similar gold grind to grab that broadsword and an array of items. So this is a good development for Sparkover.
Okay, I have confirmation, 7 out of 16 resistance.
Meanwhile, I think JJ is still on the second continent. Is that right? Or maybe he died. No, he's back on the first continent. He is exploring to the west now. So I don't think he found anything useful on the second continent while he was there. And that whole northwestern area seems to be a dead end that he just discovered there. But he is making good use of the repel spell now in order to cover more map more efficiently. And I feel like he's on his way to finding Garenham as well. Yep, and there it is.
In the meantime, McGrew went to level 8. It was primarily... it was either an HP boost or MP boost.
Ooh, Azrael making an interesting decision to walk through the swamp, bypassing Hawksness, and just seeing what's further to the south, and he's found a cave. And this is going to be Tablet Cave with 1 free chest, so perhaps something as important as Erdrick's Sword could be laying there.
Right, I think I had another name listed for this. This was... Erdrick's Grave, right?
Yeah, I often call it the Tablet Cave. It's, yeah, Erdrick's Grave, I guess is another way to put it. It's in the vanilla game, you find this cave first, and there's no enemies, and there's just a tablet telling you basically what your quest is for the remainder of the game. And it looks like Sparkover did go ahead and do a little bit of a gold grind. She's got the money for Broadsword and more items. JJ's also busy buying a bunch of items and herbs and stuff as well. Not sure if he's made it into the back door yet, but so yeah, Broadswords now for 3 out of our 4 runners as soon as Sparkover makes her way over there. And oh, McGrew is actually in the same location. He also has Broadsword money, so.
Also, according to chat, if I see correctly, it was just gold.
Oh, the tablet chest had gold, okay. So not particularly useful in that location. But that's 1 more chest that they don't need to find. You know, you have sort of a checklist of treasure chests that you're going to want to eventually find and open in order to find the 3 key items, as well as, in most cases, the Erdrick Sword, which could end up being in Sharlock. But you want to check as many chests as you can in hopes of finding it. And Stones of Sunlight and the Harp are always in a chest. And the Erdrick's Token is the 3rd item, and that is sometimes in a chest, and other times it's on a search spot. So plenty of exploration still remaining. These runners have only found 1 actual town besides Hawksness.
But that
and
town
not too many dungeons either.
But that town is still useful. Everyone was able to purchase leather armor. Everyone except McGrew had purchased a broadsword, if I saw correctly. I think everyone also bought the dragon scale, but I missed if everyone equipped it. So I may need help from chat on that one.
Yeah, for now, I guess we can just go ahead and equip them on there. Once in a while, even an experienced runner will forget, but it's, you know, these 4 runners are all pretty experienced with the game. I expect that they will go ahead and equip that. And JJ is also going to find the Tablet Cave if he can survive this Metal Scorpion battle. And that really only makes, I believe, 8 out of 16 locations. So still somewhere out there, there's a lot of map left to be discovered. I feel like we're going to have a cluster, like a village of towns hiding in the corner of a map somewhere.
Well, there was a seed I rolled, generated about 2 weeks ago, where there were 3 towns in one rough triangle and 3 caves in another, so it's entirely possible.
And I just missed the first chest. Azrael Ravenheart has found the mountain cave, and he opened the first chest in there. Missed what it was, but he's on his way north and west to the 2 other chests. Trying to get, yep, and here we are. What's he have here? He's found the Fighter's Ring. Let's see if he goes ahead and then equips that, and he's going in, and Fighter's Ring is equipped. And a torch as well. Anyone catch with the first? Okay, fairy water in the first chest, so nothing of consequence yet. Axe Knight puts him down, so he is going to have to go back in at some point to check the 2 remaining chests. But interesting that he found that dungeon. I didn't see exactly where on the map he was. Probably down in this southern region south of the Tablet Cave, where JJ Schmidt is currently exploring. So let's see if he finds Mountain Cave eventually. Oh, he has not yet gone through the tablet, so he's going to take the next minute or so going in and out of the Tablet Cave. Let's see what everyone else is doing. McGrew level 9, he is hurt-mooring some Druin Lords and other enemies, and going down through this southern swamp to the southwest of Sharlock. We haven't seen that area yet either.
So the level up for Migru did not look like much. Again, I'm putting up what I believe are the correct stats. So hold on, we level up for Sparkover. Let's put that in first. Alright, here is what I believe the current stats are for everyone. Interestingly enough, agility is highlighted a bit. I will admit this is a new feature, but I don't exactly know how it'll come into play, but hopefully with that agility it'll make things easy. Also, Cantlin fine for JJ Schmidt, just purchased the large shield.
So that feature to me, I mean, one thing of note is that JJ and Magru are running different builds and they're on the same level. So it's showing you that the strength agility build has 2 additional agility points beyond the strength HP build. And that gap will continue to grow as they continue to gain more levels. They'll eventually around 8 or 9 additional agility is what's likely towards the end of the game for the strength agility build. So that's showing the comparison there. That's interesting.
I will bring that up more as we continue, but first of all, we have coordinates to find out.
Yep, and we got a slow walk with only the heal spell here, but he will make his way there. He's got plenty of resources. And we'll see if it's an easy walk or a long walk for the overworld item
or
here.
A walk at all. It's a walk, 30 south, 37 east.
I think that they can count that one out. It's down through that swamp and a little bit to the east. If they can go far enough east in that direction without going on to the second continent, that will be walkable. And I expect JJ to maybe to go back there pretty quickly. I'm not sure. It looks like he wants to maintain his position and not death warp out of here. But so we have Hawksness in striking distance and the overworld coordinates in striking distance of Tantegel Castle. Either of those could have Erdrick's armor. The third place Erdrick's armor could be is on the search spot in the town of Cole, which none of our runners have found yet. And the other items that could be on search spots, one of those 3 search spots, include the fairy flute and the token. Those can both either be in a chest or on a search spot. But the armor is guaranteed to be on one of those 3 search spots. So looks like JJ wants to maintain his position on the map for exploration. And maybe next time he dies, he'll go take care of that overworld item.
I think Sparkover just gained another level. Yup, she did. So she is going for Hawksness.
Yeah, and they don't have the greatest of HP totals still on level 9 here, but she can heal herself up into the high 50s, I believe, and that should give her an opportunity to withstand an attack on the Stone Man. Unfortunately, they don't have heal more, so if she doesn't get lucky and land... well, yeah, the sleep spell. They did learn the sleep spell. I didn't catch when they learned that, so that makes the Stone Man much easier. You have, I think, a 13 out of 16 chance of landing sleep on the Stone Man.
Sleep was learned at level 5.
Okay, so this is a great move by Sparkover. Good tactics. Going with sleep and hurt more. And 2 hurt more was not enough. This particular Stone Man has a ton, but takes him down, and let's see what's there.
Erdrick's
Boom!
armor.
It's the Erdrick's armor. Woohoo! It was sitting there the whole time, and that is going to give her a lot of survivability for the future.
In the meantime, we had just missed JJ Schmidt enter and exit Cole, so what was the search spot there?
Well, we know it wasn't the armor. Yeah, it could have been nothing, and it could be one of the 2 other items that we mentioned, so let's see if anyone caught it in chat, what was in the search spot in Cole. And surviving the hit by the Star Wyvern. So he's going to double hurt more the Star Wyvern for level 10. Oh my gosh, it missed. The hurt more almost never misses, but he missed. That is unfortunate. Level 10 will have to wait 1 more minute.
Fortunately, it was the token at Cole, so at least we have that.
Oh, it was the token. Oh, that's fantastic. So he's got 2 out of the 3 items, and he knows that the overworld search spot then will have well, he doesn't know this yet, but we know that the overworld search spot will be the fairy flute because coordinates were given, so something has to be there. and we know the other 2 items were somewhere else. It
Also-
may be around the corner there in the desert, though, so he's got some counting to do here.
Also, McGrew grew to level 10. I think strength was the biggest gain. I did not notice a spell.
Yeah, so interesting. JJ seems to have run into some troubles and inefficiencies. He had an early experience gain lead, but has since lost that lead to McGrew, who's been doing some nice grinding. And McGrew now is finding the token as well in coal. So progress being made. We're finding most of the locations now. Still a few out there we haven't seen, including the town of Brockenary. The town of Rimildar, I don't think has been found. That has 1 treasure chest in it as well.
We have not seen either Breckenary or Rimildar, you are correct. We are still
And
missing...
you can remind me if we need either of the shrine caves, the staff cave or the jerk cave. Those will be needed soon.
I haven't seen those yet either.
And lastly, we still have Garen's grave, which contains 5 more treasure chests, 2 of which are behind a locked door. But JJ is now going to finish his count right over here in the forest, and he's going to get himself a fairy flute, I think. Let's see, is he going to do it? Nope, it's on the other side of the... Okay. Well, he is almost there, I think. Wow, this is a longer walk than it appeared. Unless he has to go further south from here. Nope, he's searching. Oh boy. Well,
Found it.
Second try, found the fairy flute, and so now he knows for sure that Hawksness has the armor. He should waste no time. He should be going straight back there. Because he already has the token from Cole, and he has the fairy flute from the overworld. He knows now the armor has to be there. And the sooner you can get that, the better.
Level 10. 643. Also, large shield purchases being taken care of.
Actually, 11 power, pretty significant on level 10. The power stat is the one that you really need the most at the end game. There's almost no wiggle room with the power stat. So whenever they get those double-digit power gains, we had one earlier in the game of 21, and now we have 11 on level 10. So nice progress with power. They should be able to swing the broadsword and take down some intermediate enemies at this point if they don't want to use the hurt more magic. We're going to see some treasures being explored from JJ. I don't think we ever saw the last 2 chests, so let's see if he can make it there.
Az is taking out a wizard or trying to get away from... Ooh, excellent move, but not enough.
Oh, and he hits the reset button, which I don't know if he did a gold grind. I haven't been watching that screen. He did a gold grind.
25,000 gold.
Yeah, so he's going, and remember, we saw the flame sword and the silver shield in the town of Garenham, so he knows where that is. He's trying to get there, and he's just resetting if he dies, so that explains that. Meanwhile, McGrew has established a pretty good experience lead. He's very close to level 11. And what is this cave he's in? He is taking a winding path through whatever cave that is.
I had missed the initial start, and I can easily identify caves by their starts, assuming Radiant or Torch is used. But...
Oh, it was the swamp cave, and he forgot that he had the outside spell, so that makes it a little bit faster to get out. And at least I think... No, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was swamp, I think.
Well, if it was, then if they had gone east, they would find this other cave, which let's find out what this one is. It is the Jerk Cave. Okay, I guess nobody's gone east out of the back of the swamp cave yet, so that's 1 down. We have about 3 more locations to go. Still need that staff cave. They've been carrying the harp around since the beginning of the game. Still need to trade that in for the staff at some point.
Unfortunately, I had missed if Az has gone to Cole yet to get that token.
And Sparkover also on the 2nd floor of the mountain cave. The torch is in that bottom right chest. And I'm not sure if either JJ or Sparkover. I don't know if JJ managed to get to the 5th chest, way over on the left side. It's hard to follow all of them at once, I have to admit. A split screen frenzy and the flame sword and the silver shield in the books for Azrael. So some serious equipment now. He is going to start killing things. Only the leather armor, but that's not going to be too much of a problem as the Erdrick sword is right there in the town of Hawksness. Unfortunately, he's still only on level 6. Not sure why he's had so much trouble gaining experience, but he's got the equipment now. He should be gaining experience in a hurry from here on out.
McGrew went to level 11, but unless there was a spell involved, it was an empty level.
See if he gets this metal slime. They're worth quite a bit of experience if he can actually land 3 hits on it. It's getting close, but oftentimes you fail your attack and you do 0 damage. Then they can run away at any time and
Just
it runs away.
like that.
Unfortunate. And McGrew is not taking any damage from the swamp tiles, so he must have the Erdrick's armor. Let's see if after this battle if that's correct. And JJ is in the midst of a gold grind as well. He has his sights set on the silver shield and the flame sword, I would imagine.
He just casted heal. There's
And
Rimmildar.
Rimmildar has access to keys if they need to refresh, but more importantly, there is one chest here that could have the Stones of Sunlight.
Could. And does not.
Or it could be empty, which means, of course, that it was either an herb or a magic key in that chest. But I believe McGrew has the Erdrick's armor, and does he still really have the bamboo pole? Wow, that would be amazing. But oftentimes when you get the Hurt More spell, I guess you're just not so worried about getting a weapon.
I only saw the bamboo pole purchase. I haven't seen anything else. I haven't seen Erdrick's sword picked up on any of the runners yet. So unless I see evidence otherwise, I'm sticking with what's shown.
Yeah, and he is almost 1,000 experience point lead now. Unfortunately, could not get that metal slime again, but he's done a nice job of extending that lead using the Hurt More spell wisely. And let's see now. He's doing 12 damage to a Demon Knight. I am going to guess that he still has the bamboo pole.
In the meantime, Az has finally gone to level 7 and now has Hurt More, so that should help as well.
Alright, JJ is about to upgrade his equipment. And Azrael should be quickly gaining experience now that he has the equipment and he's on the early levels still. Use Hurt More at every opportunity and the Flame Sword whenever necessary.
Alright, current stats, assuming everything is set up correctly, is on screen. Right now, McGrew has certainly best MP out of everyone so far, but then again, level 11 does help with that.
So what continues to make the seed a bit challenging is they still have pretty low HP totals. JJ and Sparkle over on strength HP, still only with 63. You can see that McGrew has an additional level, but he only has 61 for max HP. Again, he's on a different build that emphasizes agility. But the lack of HP, like right now, they are all still vulnerable to being one-shot by Dragon Lord Breath. We haven't seen too much of that in this seed, but it could happen at any time while you're busy trying to explore the map. So they need to gain more HP soon, or they're going to be looking for a lot more levels.
Also, yes, ETAP, we do have, well, kind of live delayed stats, if anything, since I'm helping to track this seed today. And, you know, it's all derived. I have the seed myself.
Alright, I'm not clear what happened to JJ with his gold grind and why it... So he has a bunch of gold on hand. It looked like he was looking around for some armor. I have to believe that he upgraded to the Flame Sword while he was in the middle of that gold grind, didn't he?
He did not enough gold.
he just did not add up the numbers correctly when he was grinding for the gold. Wow, that is a substantial mistake, I guess. So now he's busy looking for magic armor or even full plate, I guess, to spend that money on. So he's checking a couple of different shops and not having any success. If he just went over to Hawksness, he would have the Erdrick's armor. So buying armor at this point, not particularly productive, but Broadsword is not that much worse than the Flame Sword anyways. So he just needs to move on and think about what to do next. And if it were me, Hawksness would be on the top of the list.
Sparkover has found the Rainbow Drop Cave, but we all know it as the Jerk Cave because guy's a jerk, don't bring everything you need, kicks you out.
And Magrew's in the Mountain Cave as well. He had not yet found all these chests, so he'll now have the Fighter's Ring as soon as he equips it. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Sparkover also equipped the Fighter's Ring. She was in the Mountain Cave, unless she didn't make it to that chest. I'm not sure if she died partway through, but I guess we can wait on that. Nobody has found the Grave of Garen, to my knowledge. That's 5 more chests, which could have the Stones of Sunlight. And still the Staff, or the Shrine Cave, a few different names for it. I like to call it the Rain Cave, because we have the sun and the rain are key themes in this game. So we got the Rain Cave and the Sun Cave, and then the Rainbow Cave. But yeah, that one is still out there. They need to trade in the harp at some point, or else they won't have access to Charlotte Castle. They're going to need to find the grave if they want to search those treasure chests. Those might be the only 2 places left to be found, except, not including the town of Brockenary, which at this point is relatively unimportant. So scouring the edges of the map for these last few locations as the runners approach the 1 hour mark in a few minutes here. Azrael is going to make a relatively early trek into Hawksness. He's still at level 8, but should be able to take on a Stone Man. He has the sleep spell now.
Yeah, sleep spell, decent attack power, and defensive power, at least compared to when Sparkover had, her gain for the armor. Also, level 11 for strength HP side, power 3, speed 2, HP 2, magic 4, and the level 11 spell was stop spell from what I saw in Magrew.
And I just saw Magrew open that last chest in the Mountain Cave that I hadn't seen anyone open yet, and I missed what it was. But if it was not the Stones of Sunlight, he's going to have to look for the grave.
It's not always easy to watch over 4 screens at once, folks.
Yeah, and people have been dying in the Mountain Cave as well, so I was wondering if anyone had gotten to that last chest. And I just saw him, and JJ just bought the full plate, apparently. Thank you for that in the chat. And Azrael is taking on the Stone Man. He's going to want to put it to sleep and use Hurt More a couple of times. Maybe cast Heal in between, or maybe not. He does manage to survive 1 more attack. Just goes with the Hurt More instead of putting it back to sleep. He does land it, and it still wasn't enough. Fortunately, Hawksness is pretty close to Tanteagle. If he wants, he can just go right back there.
Ooh, Werewolf takes out JJ Schmidt, and Magrew runs into a Demon Knight. Fortunately, Magrew able to run away.
So as far as treasure chests go, we've seen the ones in Tanteagle Castle. There's 3 in Garenham, which we've seen. There's 1 in Rimmildar, which we've seen. The Stones of Sunlight Cave was in the back of Garenham, and we saw that chest. We also saw the Tablet Cave, the 1 chest there. And I believe we've seen all 5 chests in the Mountain Cave. So the Stones of Sunlight has to be in Garen's grave. It's the only place left with treasure chests, not including Charlotte Castle.
Also, blink and you'll miss it. Magrew has just left Breckenary.
Yep, and if he even went in there, if he just noped out of it, that means he maybe hasn't found all the towns himself. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have even gone in there.
Chose to rest at the inn, and that was it, from what I saw.
Okay, well, it is convenient for the inn, that's for sure. So he is on his way to level 12. I don't think this Troll Magi is going to be quite enough, but he's very close. He has about a 700 experience lead on JJ. JJ is going after the Stone Man, trying to get the armor, and it doesn't really make for a good grind spot, especially not at this stage of the game. So
Sparkover has found the rain cave, I believe you called it.
oh, there we go. The Rain Cave is in the books, and she can be upgraded now to the Staff of Rain. So only the Stones of Sunlight remaining to be found for Sparkover, which we now know is in the grave.
McGrew went to level 12. I'll cover level up stats in a moment. I want to see if JJ... Yes, JJ is able to get that armor. Now, the stats for level 12, Strength Agility. Looks like an empty level as well. Well, 6 HP isn't that bad. And 5 Agility isn't bad either.
All right, so Azriel also doing the same as JJ. He's going to be going and getting the coordinates. If things had played out in a different way for these runners, and we'll see what happens with McGrew, it's possible to maybe not even bother with these coordinates, because if you are successful in Hawksness, then you have the armor already, and if you have found the Town of Coal, then you already have the token, and there would be no reason to even check these coordinates or to do the count that JJ did. So a little bit of time lost for JJ as an example, since things played out that way, and he went ahead and counted out those coordinates for the Fairy Flute. I'm not sure if McGrew... see, we have McGrew having the armor and the token already, so if he hasn't found Cantlin yet, when he does find it, he won't even need the coordinates. And now I think he's in the grave, is he not? So McGrew has found the grave.
I wouldn't discount the Fairy Flute yet, because, you know, having an insta-sleep for golems is kind of nice.
Yeah, it is nice, but if you have to go and find the overworld spot, it's usually just not worth the time. All right, so here's the chests for McGrew in the top of the grave. We have a key, we have some sort of herb, and there's the Stones of Sunlight. No need to go further down unless you want to check for Erdrick's Sword, which nobody has found yet. So Erdrick's Sword is either in the one of the 2 remaining chests in the grave down at the bottom, or it's in one of the 7 treasure chests available in Sharlock Castle. So while he's here, it looks like McGrew is going to make his way down to check for the sword.
I would do that too. Again, I haven't noticed if McGrew purchased something better than the bamboo pole, but even I would consider going forward. At least know if you have to potentially dive in Sharlock for that sword.
Yeah, every once in a while, the sword turns out to be optional if the stats are skewed in such a way that you gain tons of power throughout the seed, and you're lacking in something else, such as hit points. Like in this seed, we don't have enough hit points to take on the Dragon Lord, and probably won't for quite a while. But if that doesn't happen, usually you're going to want the sword, because it's 12 additional attack power beyond the flame sword, and attack power is a stat that there's not much wiggle room. You really have to have a certain amount of attack power before the Dragon Lord fight becomes viable. So making his way down, and the first chest does not have the sword, has a dragon scale.
Yeah, not only do we want enough attack power, but we also want heal more. I haven't seen any of our runners get heal more, which means levels 13, 14, 15, or 16 will grant it. As soon as you get to level 16, you have all the spells.
Absolutely, that's basically another requirement for fighting the Dragon Lord. So in rare occasions, you can have all the stats, but you still don't have heal more. They don't have all the stats yet. They're lacking in particular in hit points right now. But yeah, something to keep an eye on if they continue to not learn heal more, which incidentally makes just the whole seed a little bit more challenging than it otherwise would be. They have to be careful in some of their battles when they don't have heal more. They're not totally invulnerable just yet. Fortunately, we haven't seen a lot of overworld monsters with the Dragon Lord 2 ability because, as I mentioned, they don't have the HP to withstand it. So if a lot of monsters out there had it, they would be getting sent back to the castle just relentlessly because they just don't have enough hit points. But fortunately, most of the overworld monsters seem fairly tame. Azrael manages to run from a red dragon as I say that. So,
and that's good timing because Azrael is about to get the fairy flute.
And McGrew just grabbed whatever was in that chest at the bottom, which I don't think was the sword. Didn't quite catch what it was. But if it wasn't the sword, we've seen basically everything else of consequence.
Level 12 Strength HP build coming up. Oh, I missed Sparkover getting it as well. Speed 4, HP 7, MP 3.
Sparkover's done a nice job of catching up experience-wise. She's only about 300 or 400 behind McGrew and is basically tied with JJ at this point. So we're going to have a nice three-way race between these three. And if Sharlock becomes a problem, then you never know. Azrael could come from behind if people start failing their dives in Sharlock Castle. So, and they still have a little bit more to find out there as well before they're done. Sparkover in particular is hunting for the grave. JJ is in the grave. He's about to pick up the stones, and he still needs to find the staff cave or the rain cave to trade in that harp. McGrew, I believe, has everything except looks like he has also not found the rain cave. So one last thing out there to be found by all our runners, and then they're going to have to decide on a grind. The Stone Man is not really a very efficient grind, especially when you don't have the Heal More spell.
We had missed Sparkover actually find stones and go to the jerk.
Yeah, I just saw her in the jerk, so I didn't realize that she grabbed the rainbow drop there, but good for her. So she is the first into Sharlock, and her decision is to grind in the first floor of Sharlock Castle, at least for right now, with her remaining MP supply. And that is very close to Tantegla Castle, so that may be her plan, is to continue to grind here, seeing as the Stone Man in Hawksnest is not that great of an option. There's also, the Swamp Cave is right attached to Tantegla Castle, which also has a spike tile. I'm not sure if we've seen what that is yet. Nobody's actually gone to get the princess just yet.
I don't think there's a reason to rescue Princess Gwaelin this time. Everyone, I mean, the top two runners already have the fairy flute. Sparkover and McGrew probably don't care about the fairy flute right now, even though we're seeing the golems in Sharlock.
So this is time for Sparkover's decision here. Either she's going to make a left and go back to Sharlock to grind there, or she could go down here into the Swamp Cave, which is what she is doing. She wants to see if the enemy there might be more interesting. Perhaps an Axe Knight, or even, I don't know, what else would you want right now when you don't have Heal More?
I think that would depend on what attacks the enemies can do. As we've seen, every enemy can potentially do different attacks from the vanilla game.
Yeah, even an Armored Knight, for example, would be reasonable. You would cast Hurt More twice on an Armored Knight right now. So, let's see. She's not even going to bother to use a Torch or to cast Radiant, which they may not even have the Radiant spell yet. I'm not sure. But she seems to know her way through the Swamp Cave and towards the spike tile there. And there it is. And it's another Stone Man. What a dreadful seed.
I apologize to all of our runners. Maybe not so much to the viewers, they're probably getting a kick out of this, but to also answer your question, no one has Radiant yet as of level 12.
Yeah, so the problem here, level 12 for a Stone Man grind right here, as we're about to see, she's going to be vulnerable to dying because the, they do have the sleep spell, and it works most of the time, but they don't have a lot of hit points, and they also don't have heal more. And hurt more doesn't work a whole lot of the time, and they also don't have Erdrick's sword, so they're not doing a whole lot of damage physically against the Stone Man. So it's just not, even if they could kill it, it's going to be a slow process to kill one, and they're only worth 155 on top of it all. So she is now looking for hurt moreable enemies just out in the middle of the desert, which every once in a while, that is the correct play.
McGrew got the rainbow drop in the meantime. I was able to catch that.
Alright, so McGrew is now in grind mode as well. I don't know if he has any sort of a shield. Can we tell by his sprite? I'm not sure if all of the sprites, these alternate sprites that the runners sometimes use, if they all have that capability of showing the sword and the shield, but
I'm not able to tell, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has a shield. I would think that could be a priority for him to at least buy like a large shield, but I see that she's carrying a sword on that sprite. Can't tell if she's actually carrying a shield. Doesn't look like it. So interesting. So McGrew basically is in grind mode, but he doesn't really have very good equipment. And yeah, we'll have to see how he handles the grind. He's buying some wings because I don't know if they have the return spell yet. Now, it's only a few steps from Charlotte Castle back to Tanteagle, but every once in a while, if you finish the game, let's say on level 14, and you haven't learned the return spell yet, you could find yourself walking all the way back from Charlotte Castle to Tanteagle. With no enemies to death warp on either, so that's...
No one has the return spell yet.
Yeah, so interesting foresight to just buy the wings there just in case that becomes a thing. It's unlikely, in my opinion, that they're going to be an end game stats before level 16 because they just don't have very many hit points yet. Unless they get a really large hit point boost, which happens once in a while, they're several levels away.
Yeah, as we can tell by the on-screen stats, no one has gotten over 75 HP yet, and we're gonna need a lot more than that if we want to take out the Dragon Lord.
And Azrael's early decision to go ahead and sell the Death Necklace seems to be the right play now, because they're not even anywhere near using the Death Necklace for any reason, as that would sacrifice 25% of what meager HP you have at this point. So, yeah, hit points is the main... I don't know if you can put those stats back up, but let's see how far they are away from fighting the Dragon Lord here.
Oh, sure, they're back up now.
Yeah, so let's take JJ, for example, on the Strength HP build. He's at 72 HP. You're going to want about 25 more hit points before that becomes an option. 62 strength score. Even if he had the Erdrick sword, that only puts you up to 102 or 104 if he found the fighter's ring. That's not enough. He's going to want probably 20 to 25 or 30 more strength points. Agility is very low as well. This is a very slow progression. On level 12, these are dismal stats, to be quite frank.
McGrew literally went to level 13 as we were talking. I think a new spell was gained, but I had missed what that spell was.
Yeah, the most important one right now, of course, would be Heal More. And that would make a lot of grind options more palatable. Right now, he's just doing the same thing, finding enemies such as green dragons to just try and fight in the Castle of Sharlock. The Stone Man grind just isn't the right play right now, and Sparkle, we're taking a different approach and finding hurt moreable enemies in the desert. So she gains 10 more power there and 15 hit points on her level 12 level.
Outside repel. Was that Radiant? Because Sparkover just went to 13. Also,
okay, those were the 13. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Level 13 is the next spell level. Also,
pretty good hit
big
points.
HP grain. Yeah.
Pretty good hit points and pretty good power gain there. Still a good ways away. She like 14 is probably not going to be the level. every once in a while, especially these players that have the silver shield, if you can get your defense rating up high enough, you could consider trying to fight your way down Sharlock to get that last level if you think the next level is going to be the one. Right now, if it were me, I'm fairly confident that 14 is not going to be the one. So they have some grinding left to do, and without the Heal More spell, grinding is going to be a bit slow.
Alright, stats are going to be hidden for now, at least until we get the next big one.
And I'm trying to see what JJ's up to. Did he ever go in and find the stones in the grave? Looks like he is going to be checking the spike tile in the swamp cave. Unless there's some reason for him to go through the swamp cave to the other side. But it sort of seems like he's in grind mode now, but we'll see. And Azrael has got some work to do. He's a bit behind on experience.
And Omega Fulf in chat brings up an interesting point. I think McGrew is in Sharlock Castle because I think that's the only place where we've seen Blue Dragon, so...
Oh my goodness.
No
he
treasury
could not
dive.
make it there. The Blue Dragon puts him down. Well, was that a sleep spell that he got hit by on the Blue Dragon? I just caught the end of it. He had 35 MP. Of course, without the Heal More spell, again, the MP doesn't help you so much when you have end-game enemies doing 30 plus damage to you. Just the heal spell alone is not enough to dig out of a hole in the middle of a battle. Now McGrew is going to try for the Stone Man grind. That's going to be slow going as well. Especially since he doesn't have a decent weapon to work with, or so we believe.
Well, attack was reduced by 31. So you're better with enemy stats than I am. So right now, assuming I've calculated everything correctly, McGrew has 76 AP. With the bamboo pole, can you actually deal 31 damage to a stone man?
That's a good question. The Stone Man actually does have low defense. It's one of their weird things. They're low agility but high hit point. So you can do more damage to a Stone Man than you would against like a Red Dragon or something. But I'm not. Yeah, 30 seems like kind of a lot for only having about 80 strength. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he grabbed like a broadsword or something on the way and we just missed it. But he is clearly going back to the Stone Man grind in Hawksness, which is an interesting choice. I feel like this is a bit slow, unless he learned Heal More, which he did not. So he's got to get to about 5,625, if I remember, about 1,000 more experience for another level to try and learn Heal More at that level. That's kind of a ways to go. It's about 7 or 8 more Stone Man kills, so... That could be a while doing it this way. Sparkover has decided to find some Star Wyvern and other hurt mortal enemies in the overworld, and if you look, she has actually surpassed McGrew on experience. So this grind choice that she has made seems to be the most efficient choice. She is gaining experience the most rapidly of our 3 runners, our 3 front runners here.
I am trying to catch what that spell was at level 13 because I don't have the exact stats here. Yeah, I'll admit I'm a better statistician on this. Hurt. It was hurt.
Okay. It's not return and it's not Heal More. Those are basically the 2 that they kind of want to see at this point. So, yeah, I like Sparkover's decision here. And if she can manage to get a Metal Slime just as a bonus, that would work out nicely. She doesn't really want Metal Slimes because these battles take a long time and they often run away. But she is going to want things like this Axe Knight. Well, right now she's completely out of resources, but I like her tactics. She has taken the lead with this overworld grind.
Alright, takes a death. Sparkover at least has regained all of her MP. McGrew attempting to take out another Stone Man. JJ Schmidt is back in Cantlin for some reason.
Maybe just refreshing his herbs, and perhaps going into Sharlock. We'll have to see what he has planned for this. You're going to want to buy herbs at some point anyway, I suppose.
That is true, and it is possible that I had missed JJ Schmidt get the stones and also get the rainbow drop.
Yeah, and McGrew right now is the only one with significant knowledge of what the dive is going to be like in Sharlock, so he will know better than the rest whether or not a real borderline level is worth going after, or if you want, maybe one additional level to get some wiggle room. And let's see, everyone else. Sparkover's continuing to find armored knights and other nice enemies out in the overworld. And let's see what direction JJ decides to go from here. It looks like he is maybe still searching for, what would it be? I thought I saw him in the grave, but maybe that was someone else.
Hold on.
If he needs the stones, he's looking for the grave.
Sparkover gained a new spell at level 14. I'll get stats shortly.
It's not heal more.
What was it?
Yeah, the second most important one to learn right now is return, but it was not heal more, so that means that she might continue her overworld grind. Once she gets heal more, the Stone Man grind becomes more of an option. But
oh, by the way, 11 HP for the level 14 jump. So
okay, so twice in a row we got good HP, and she is there now. And this is one of those things where the strength HP build would be able to fight the Dragon Lord just purely based on HP. And the strength agility, as you'll see when McGrew makes it there in a moment, he will not be able to fight. He won't have as many hit points because he's on a strength agility build. So sometimes when it's borderline like that, the strength HP build has an advantage of allowing you to fight the Dragon Lord a bit earlier. Still, other stats are lacking. The strength stat is still quite lacking. Even if you had the Urgic Sword, that is not enough. So, more grinding to be done. And obviously they don't have heal more, so no matter what, they need level 15.
A spell was gained. I want to know what that spell is. Outside return?
It might be return. Yeah, it might be return. If she actually finds a hurt mortal enemy and she'll go back into her spell menu. Here we go. Let's see. Yep. Alright, she has return. Which is good. So now she doesn't have to worry about having wings or anything like that.
Was there a second spell gained that wasn't heal more though? I'm trying to remember. What else are we missing?
Yeah, she has them all except for heal more at this point. I did notice there are 9 spells in the list. So
what is the other
they're all there. I'm not sure what we were actually missing, so
okay.
Might have been stop spell according to chat.
Stop spell was level 11. So the spells that I have recorded right now are repel, sleep, heal, hurt more, outside, stop spell, hurt, return. Heal more is the one we're missing. What we know we're missing heal more. What's the other one?
Good question, because they have sleep as well.
Radiant.
Oh, it was Radiant. There you go. Okay. Well, Heal More is still out there somewhere. It's going to either be on level 15 or 16. And with this overworld strategy, Sparkover is extending the lead. Almost a 1,000 experience lead now over McGrew. And JJ is finding enemies such as the Golem. Now, he's doing some damage to this Golem. It's going to take 7 or 8 hits to take it down. And he doesn't have a very good ability to heal himself. So this is kind of questionable, but if you can get him, it's worth 255. So it's worth the time. Unfortunately, it woke up again, and it's not going to be good news for JJ. So he's right around the 5,000 experience point mark. McGrew is at around 6,000, and Sparkover is approaching 7,000. If she could get this metal slime, she would be at 7,000.
And McGrew has learned the horrible news. Would you like to grind against a stone man or a stone man?
Let's put up the stats one more time. We can compare his HP against Sparkover's HP.
You got it.
You'll see that the difference now, there's 7 additional HP on the strength HP build that the others see. If it were down to that stat, 91 hit points really just isn't enough to fight the Dragon Lord 2 in almost all cases. Whereas 98 hit points is a fairly comfortable number. So that's the advantage there for the strength HP build. Now, it turns out that that's probably not going to be the limiting stat. They're going to need more strength, among other things. So by the time they get that, both builds will likely have enough HP to fight the Dragon Lord. So we'll have to wait and see what the next couple of levels bring for statistics. And JJ is deciding on maybe a sword dive down into the treasury. Let's see how this goes.
Alright, so just to at least explain this colored stat system a little bit more, since I've had a chance to look up a few things. I'm presuming if the stats are in orange, as you currently see, then they're alright. You could make an attempt. We want the stats to go high enough for them to go green, basically, so that you are comfortable taking out the Dragon Lord. But we're not there yet.
I actually think it might be the other way around. It might be that the ones in orange are like below average, because 61 MP is pretty abysmal for level 14, and 56 agility is also pretty terrible. So those might be actually like on the low side. I actually thought that this feature was a way of comparing the builds. That was my guess, but I don't know.
I'm
We'll
still
see.
new with this too, so don't you worry. I wish to give a shout out to that tie-dye guy for helping develop this feature. So
this tracker is awesome. I love it. I like all the icons for all the important items. It's very nicely developed at this point. And so it's cool to see all the different strategies. Azrael now is going into Hawksness for the Stone Man grind. JJ and McGrew are both in dark places. Perhaps on maybe a sword dive in Sharlock, and Sparkover's continuing the overworld grind. So when your stats are not quite there and the spike tiles are not that interesting, it becomes part of the strategy to try and figure out how to get these levels.
speaking of things that I had missed, I believe JJ has... Did I miss JJ getting the Fighter's Ring? Probably.
Yeah, Fighter's Ring was in Mountain Cave, so I'm going to assume that he has it. Yeah, and if his attack power... Yeah, the attack power is showing. Well, are those stats based on what you have in the tracker?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Let's go ahead and give him the Fighter's Ring.
However,
It was in that top left chest.
However, I think he actually has 5 more strength, so I had missed a sword upgrade at some point. No, maybe it wasn't a sword upgrade, because I don't think he actually has 106 attack power. Could have sworn he had extra strength. I'll figure... Oh! Well, we have a level up for Sparkover, level 15.
She is, I think, going after these metal slimes. Oh, she gets one there with an excellent move, so that's 255. I don't know if it just happens to be in the same zone, or if she's actually looking for that metal slime, but sometimes those actually slow you down. But she did get that one for 255, and now the Star Wyvern, I think, is the one she's really targeting. They're worth triple-digit experience as well, and they, about half the time, will go down with a single hurt more. Wolf Lords are easily hurt moreable for 52 experience, if I recall. So she's found a zone that she likes. Whatever it is causing her to extend the lead.
And do compare JJ Schmidt's stats with Sparkover stats, because they have compatible builds. Level 15 was an excellent gain.
Let's see. I see 7 more strength, which strength is what they really need. And that's actually getting kind of close. If you add 40 to the strength score, you're getting up into the 120s, 125 with the Fighter's Ring. That's starting to be where you're going to want to start looking to see if you have enough MP to compensate. Now, they're a little short on MP, She gained quite a bit on that level, but still only 79 MP. That's only enough for 9 heal mores. So 125 attack power is not enough. But yeah, she's now in the realm where she could be 1 level away. Like if she gets a really good strength boost, it's go time because she already has the hit points. And the next level, she's guaranteed to learn heal more if she didn't already. So it could be go time on the next level. We'll see.
I did not see heal more on the spell list. I may have missed it, but hold on, Star Wyvern. Yep, level 16 heal more. Ouch. Also,
yeah, which actually gives her an advantage because this grind that she's doing, I think, is a really good choice when you don't have heal more. Whereas the others are kind of banging their head against the wall trying to fight Stone Man and Golem without heal more. So interestingly, JJ is maybe the only one that went through the trouble to get the Fairy Flute on the overworld, and he's putting it to use against the Golems. That's a small advantage for JJ there.
Az also has the Fairy Flute, but right now I'd like to bring up that JJ is in Sharlock, and JJ is approaching the Treasury. Some of us here like to call it the Pyramid Treasury because the 6 chests are arranged kind of like the $100,000 Pyramid game show from back in the days of yore. Folks in chat, based off of the pyramid position or dollar amount, your choice, predict whether Erdrick's sword is going to be in one of those 6 spots, or heaven forbid, the vanilla location.
Yeah, I'm going to go with middle, which is kind of on the right side of the row of 2.
So that is
in the treasury.
250. All right, you're going for 250. Omega Wolf in chat is going for 200.
I'm not sure if JJ is going to make it. He is down to no resources, but
he's there.
He is on the bottom floor.
All right,
let's see. Just needs a few more steps.
as long as we get into
oh my god, treasury. Dragon Lord Breath from the werewolf. Oh no, a double Dragon Lord Breath from the werewolf. It is so brutal, this seed. So some Sharlack enemies have Dragon Lord 2 Breath, and they have very low agility stat. Like 56 agility makes it very difficult to run from any Sharlack monster. So in that case, you may actually want an extra level. Like if Sparkover still only has 60 for max agility, if she gets the strength that she needs right now, she might consider not going because of the agility score. Now, I'm not sure if she has enough knowledge of what enemies are in there, but yeah, if you start having a difficult dive with enemies with Dragon Lord 2 Breath and you can't run away from them, you might need another level. So we got all kinds of things for the runners to think about on this end game here. It's not an easy one.
Everyone now has access to Sharlock, so it is a question. Do you dive or do you stay out?
What's interesting, too, is that in theory, the sword dive is a good play when you know you need several more levels and, you know, you're kind of hurting on a grind where there's no like Axe Knight to grind on or something. So if they could have gotten the Erdrick sword, then the Stone Man becomes a lot more interesting to grind on because you can be doing, 45 or 50 damage a whack on the Stone Man when you're wielding the Erdrick sword. But since nobody's actually been able to get there to get the sword, it makes this grind just difficult for these guys. And I still like Sparkover's strategy best. It's really unusual that this turns out to be the right play, but she has grinded 3 levels now in this desert, and she's going another level. Just in the overworld desert is what she has decided is the best grind. That's always really interesting to me when that turns out to be the best play.
And Azrael Ravenheart also gained a level along with the not so useful Hurt. JJ Schmidt has gone up to level 15.
Yeah, so he should have the same stats now as Sparkover for maximums, and you can see that adds up, especially if they both have the Fighter's Ring and the Dragon Scale equipped.
Okay, McGrew has the broadsword. Thank you for that pause.
There we go. Broadsword Army and no shield. And this is a very low agility seed. To not have a shield is like crazy to me. Right now, if you were fighting the Dragon Lord with 60 defense power, you're looking at being physicaled by the Dragon Lord for maybe almost 60 damage in some cases, which is like I've never even seen that before. So I don't know if has that in the back of his mind to maybe just find a large shield somewhere, just grab it for 800 gold somewhere, or if he's just gonna just grin and bear it, because they do not have agility and he doesn't have a shield.
Folks, Sparkover has gained that all-important level 16.
All right, let's see it.
Oh, boom! Look at that HP gain.
Yeah, that is getting up towards where you can start thinking about potential double attacks. It would be helpful if they had a better defense total in order to get those double attacks, but very comfortable HP. A strength of 87 against the MP of 81. If she were to have the Erdrick sword, she would have 129 for attack power.
If I saw that pause screen right, though, Sparkover does have the flame sword. I need confirmation from chat, though.
Well, regardless, she will have the Erdrick sword by the end game, so you can calculate the 129 versus the 81 MP, and it's just not enough magic for that strength score. So she knows that that math doesn't add up, even with the hit point total. The agility score is really low. Agility is a little bit optional, but you can see that the dive sometimes becomes really problematic if you don't have the agility stat. And the strength versus the MP is just not quite there. So she's going for 17. She does have heal more now, though. So if she wanted to, she could change her play and go fight, maybe a Stone Man if she wanted to use the heal more strategy. But I think she feels like she's just getting faster experience just finding these Axe Knights and Star Wyvern out in the overworld. So she's sticking with it.
McGrew also got up to level 15. Looked like decent stat gain there.
Yeah, Golem here from McGrew, and I don't think he ever found the Fairy Flute, and he does not yet have Heal More, so that enemy becomes pretty much unfightable still, especially when you don't have Erdrick's sword. So
the problem
not only that, but he was unable to get away as well.
The problem is I don't think Sparkover has the Fairy Flute either. Our top runners have the Fairy Flute, our bottom runners don't. And
if they're in Sharlock, there seems to be a lot of golems in Sharlock. So, and oftentimes when you have normal agility, like you can run from them pretty easily. But when you don't, man, they pack a punch. So JJ choosing the golem as his grind, actually, and excellent move is going to help the cause there. But wow, interesting end game we got here, and we got a little ways to go. This has turned out to be on the slower side for seeds, a little bit more challenging than average. We are past the 1.5 hour mark, and we still are not at end game levels. So we're looking at least another 10 to 15 minutes before anyone gets close to finishing this out.
JJ Gorn DT in chat asks what type of race this is. This is actually a weekly race, the last primary weekly race until the upcoming Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament. There are 10 or 11 runners in total. We just chose 4 to be featured.
And not to belabor the point too much, but look at the lead that Sparkover has amassed. She is up at 11,000 experience points now, a 2,500 experience lead over JJ and McGrew. So this difference in end game grinds is huge for her. They started off, all 3 of them, about even at around level 12, within a few hundred points. And she is now at a huge experience point lead now with this overworld grind. Well done.
Experience grind, yes, Sparkover is ahead. But right now I'm trying to focus on both McGrew and JJ Schmidt because they are approaching the Pyramid Treasury and we still need to find Erdrick's sword.
Yeah, and neither of them have heal more yet, so this is not a sure thing that they're going to make it there. But let's see if they can do it. Blue Dragon for JJ. He's going after Blue Dragons without heal more. This feels like it would be close. Let's see if he can get him. He's going to go for the YOLO hurt more, and he does land the hurt more. That only lands about half the time. So pulling out all the stops, managed to get 180 experience for his troubles there. Only about halfway through this dive. And McGrew has failed his dive. So not a sure thing until they get that heal more spell at 16 to be able to get to the bottom. My goodness, that has to be frustrating.
McGrew checking stats once more before taking another dive. And this is where having that fairy flute, as much as it is occasionally derided, it is coming into play. I mean, the only place where we've seen the golems is in Sherlock, so in this case, having the fairy flute, excellent planning, especially without Erdrick's sword right now.
And by the way, we have either 10 or 11 runners total. Many of them are running off stream. And nobody's finished the seed yet. So this is on the longer side. Out of all these runners, including Mr. Holmes seems to be participating. He's one of the very best. Unless my SRL chat has died on me, which happens sometimes. Looks like nobody's finished yet. So we'll keep an eye on that now as we go.
I can confirm no one has finished. No one has forfeited either. Oh. Hold on. We're back in the Pyramid Treasury. I forgot to call mine, by the way. I'm going to call 150, which is the bottom right chest. So, let's see. What is it? Okay, starting at 150. Gold. 100. Erdrick Sword. 50 is gold. 200. Herb. 300. Cursed Belt. A second one. 250. Fairy Water.
I'm actually not totally sure what he was looking for in the rest of those chests, unless he was just curious. But that makes me wonder if he actually did find the fighter's ring that first time around.
If he didn't find it, then I have to make some adjustments.
I guess if he ever pulls up his stat window, we'll have to take a close look, at his attack power, because there's not really any other reason for him to open all those other chests unless he was looking for something. And the only thing I can think of is the fighter's ring, since they're not anywhere near Death Necklace realm, and they're so at any rate, he's going to make his way around. Not sure if he'll make it over to the mini boss to get that information, but he's just going to grind on whenever he can. And Death Warp out with the sword in hand. He's the first one to have the sword. See if that helps him on his grind.
And McGrew may be the second. Remember, bottom row center chest, otherwise known as the $100 chest.
And by the way, Sparkover might be going for game here. She is about, with this kill, she's about to get to level 17. Although it looks like she's using up her magic in the process. So maybe just doing her own sword dive here. But she may want to not do that. Let's see what this stat gain gives her. And no power at level 17. We're going to 18. Wow, that is interesting. So she will continue and just go and use this as a sword dive of her own. Wow, interesting.
And JJ Schmidt finally has level 16.
Yeah, that'll help the cause, getting the heal more spell. And there we go. Okay, he has 129 attack power right now. So that means that he must have the fighter's ring equipped. Not sure what he was looking for in that treasury, but we got a good look at his stats there. So we are on track.
And Azriel Ravenheart gets Erdrick's sword at level 14.
Wow, that's a heck of a dive for him. With significantly lesser stats, he still only has 91 hit points. Remember, he's on the strength agility build, so he and McGrew will have lesser hit point totals throughout. But I expect them to get over into the triple digits on their next level ups, or on McGrew's level up.
Final Guardian, of course.
Oh, we got the triple play. 3 stone men in this seed. Wow. It is no joke.
We've had Stonemen in all 3 Guardian spots, as
Well, yeah, look
as...
at how much, by the way, look how much you can do with the Erdrick Sword, though. He's just getting him for 50 plus. So a regular Stone Man grind is an option now. Especially with the Heal More spell as well. Interesting stuff, though. Wow. 3 Stone Men.
Plus all the Stonemen in the overworld. This is ridiculous.
It's definitely one of the more annoying enemies. It's really a good thing that it's so susceptible to sleep, because otherwise it would just be a super frustrating enemy. Let's see now. We have Azrael is going to try and make his way to the mini-boss just for the information, and he gets it. And McGrew also on the mini-boss. Oh my gosh, they're all right there at the same spot, with no chance of fighting the Dragon Lord. That's kind of crazy. But once they death warp out of here, let's see who can use that Erdrick Sword to their advantage and get those last few experience points. And Sparkover also making a pretty good dive for it here. So I'm not sure if Sparkover should be running from that golem. If she has the Heal More spell, she should probably be fighting this golem. It's 255 each time, but this is the enemy. This is a disaster. Sleep for the werewolf, and it has Dragon Lord 2 breath.
Oh,
this could send her home. I'm not sure why she didn't try and run from it. This may be the first one that she's seen.
That may very well be. Sparkover is sent home.
We call that the Wombo Combo. Put you to sleep and hit you with the big boy breath, and you are done. It's basically the one combination that no matter how strong you are, that could still kill you. So
this is otherwise known as slept and wrecked.
Yeah, slept and wrecked. Another good way to put it. And Sparkover must be just furious now, but she doesn't really need it. She's going straight back in. I'm not sure if this is the right play. It's sort of like you can always go ahead and get that sword when you're going for the Dragon Lord. Just it's on the way. She's close enough to 18 that it would maybe be helpful to go ahead and get 18 out in Hawksness or out in the overworld like she was doing. But she still has a pretty good experience lead. Hopefully that didn't set her back too far for her sake.
By the way, I need to take care of some minor administrative stuff. First of all, McGrew is level 16, so let's put that up.
Yeah, and he, with that level up, has the HP now. Strength Agility build has, less HP as we've talked about, but he now does have enough to take on the Dragon Lord, but he is lacking in strength. That's going to be the same thing regardless of which of the two builds. The strength versus MP ratio is going to be the same.
Second of all, we haven't had a chance to mention, please follow our runners, because they have been struggling with this seed and they could use all the support.
I'm starting to think we have a 2-hour plus seed going here. Unless somebody that's not in our featured runners finishes soon.
And that was the third thing, actually. Mr. Holmes did finish in first with a time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, 53 seconds.
Congratulations to Mr. Holmes, one of the very best runners of this game in our community. I was kind of wondering when he was going to finish. And so for the first place time to be 141, I would say that this has been a challenging seed. Interesting. I would like to know if he used a similar grind strategy as Sparkover and stuck with overworld enemies, because that's kind of rare. But when it works, it can be a really good thing. So first place for Mr. Holmes, and we have several other runners off stream. We'll keep you posted if anyone else finishes while we're watching our featured 4.
Yeah, JJ Schmidt is sticking to Stonemen and Hawksness. McGrew, I don't know which way he's going to go yet. Sparkover, I believe, has dove back into Sharlock, and Azrael is stocking up.
This is interesting. McGrew actually used I believe he used the Sharlock Treasury as a trigger for his gold grind, and he's finally now grinding up for silver shield status. He still has no shield, but now he's finally going to go for the silver shield. Interesting.
I am impressed that McGrew went this long without a shield, period.
Yeah, and it's unusual to think of the Charlock Treasury as a trigger point for the gold grind, but it works just as well as any of the other dungeons that have treasure chests. It just so happens that the way he played it in this game, that was the best opportunity for him to set one up. So good job for him. I guess he's going to go right past here and head towards Garenham, I would think, where the silver shield is located. And then he will have 20 more defense power at his disposal, taking a bit less damage from some of the bad guys. And again, look at JJ Schmid now. He's gone back to the Stoneman grind in Hawksness. Now that he has Heal More and the Urgic Sword, it is a much better situation to grind on these Stonemen. You can oftentimes 3-shot them, and you can put them to sleep, and it can go much faster now with what they have to work with than what they were dealing with a few levels ago.
Also, I'd like confirmation. Did I miss Azrael pick up Erdrick's armor? I'm pretty sure we did at this point.
And it looks like Sparkover failed another dive for the sword. She's going straight back in, and she's now only about 500 to 600 away from level 18. She'll probably get it on the way, but she is having some frustrating times getting to that sword, just like our other runners did. So this dive is not a free dive, even when they get the stats they need to go for the Dragon Lord. You got to watch out for that werewolf, and you got to try to be able to run away from enemies with not the greatest agility.
Well, someone who probably just used their strength to get through was Smashy! He finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, 13 seconds.
And on the note of the builds, again, this is basically the exact type of build. This is the exact reason why some runners like to go with the strength agility build. We'll see at the end of the game that McGrew is going to have significantly more agility than JJ and Sparkover, and that will allow him to run away from the Charlock enemies substantially easier, which could cause you to burn less heal mores on the way down, and so on and so forth. So this type of seed where the agility is the stat that's lacking, that's where the strength agility seed shines. So interesting that that's come into play here, and Sparkover is making her way down for the sword, while JJ and McGrew are doing various types of grinds.
Now, I will be honest, normally we would have some interviews after our featured runners finish. We will hopefully be able to have a few quick words, but we don't have too much more time beyond that, Unfortunately, I am not a warrior because I am unable to stay up all that much. So, if we have to cut things a little short, we'll at least try to make sure our featured 4 do get to finish a bit.
It's totally understandable. It's a longer seed than normal. And yeah, congrats again to Mr. Holmes and Smashy, who I see now in chat. Very good race. I'm interested if Mr. Holmes is actually listening. What did you do for your end game grind? We saw Sparkover was the only one of our runners to make a point of just traversing overworld desert regions, hurt mooring enemies for her grind. I was curious what Mr. Holmes and Smashy decided to do.
I am curious as well. This was not a friendly seed by any means. So I'd also like to know the builds that were gone with.
And JJ actually has caught up quite substantially on experience. He was 2,500 points behind Sparkover just about 10 minutes ago. So while Sparkover has been busy doing these sword dives, she has been losing her ground on her experience lead. McGrew has fallen a bit behind JJ, And yeah, those two had been tied for quite a while experience-wise. And JJ just these last 10 minutes has made a surge. It's halfway through 17, trying to get to 18 as quickly as possible.
Make that
McGrew
19.
seems like he wants to go to with the golem grind in the Sharlock. Make that 19, you told me. What was the deal with 18? What happened?
2 strength.
2 strength. All right.
However, Sparkover has finally reached the treasury, has to go to the $100 chest to get Erdrick's sword.
So we have 100. Well, let's see as soon as she gets the sword here. It should update, and if you want to update hers, we'll see her stats. 131 and 89 for MP. So that is a little bit short. Now, she does have 128 hit points now, so she could use the Death Necklace and be just on a borderline hit point total, or she could just count on having a few double attacks. And she right now only has 81 because the level up, you don't get the benefit of the extra magic unless you go back and use an in. But she could, in theory, give this a whirl here with 81 MP and 131 attack power. She would need 3 or 4 double attacks. And with kind of a low defense total, it's less likely, but this is not impossible.
Well, someone who proved it isn't impossible is Eternal Newbie, proving that they are not a newbie. 3rd place, 1 hour 49:38.
Yeah, this is a situation where it's questionable if using the Death Necklace would actually be beneficial. Now, it would clearly get you, it gets you up to 141 attack power, but it would have somewhere in the 96 or 97 hit, like maybe 95 or 96 hit points, which is a dangerous total to be fighting the Dragon Lord 2 on with only 85 defense power. But because the other way to go is just to rely on the extra hit points, giving you the opportunity for some double attacks. So interesting decision. If she is able to get there without burning any more magic, she's got to make her way through this Stone Man right here. And unfortunately, if she casts Sleep on the Stone Man, she will lose a heal more. So she was debating that, and she is going to just power through with the Erdrick Sword. I think that's the right decision. If she can 3-shot it, and if she has the herbs to get back up to the max, she'll have a decision about whether or not to equip the Death Necklace. Now, I don't even remember where Breckenary was, but once you equip it, it's pretty much a one-way street. She may choose not to use it, though. Let's find out. Oh no, it's a sleep from a werewolf. Oh, it's a disaster. No.
And thus slept and wrecked.
That is the second time that's happened to Sparkover, and she's had other failed dives in between that I missed what happened to her. But that is unfortunate because I think she had a reasonable chance at victory over the Dragon Lord there. Oh my goodness. Well, now she'll have an extra heal more to go down with. So I feel like she could go for game here on level 18, although it's a little borderline. Now, JJ taking a very strong look, and we'll see if he wants to abort his grind and go straight for game as well. It's a lot of factors, thinking about the Death Necklace. It's kind of borderline for that. You want to be at 130 or higher typically for the Death Necklace.
And don't forget, Azrael Ravenheart threw out the Death Necklace.
Yeah, back when they had just no hit points in the beginning of the game, he was like, I'm going to sell this and get some equipment. And that is interesting. Yeah, that could become an issue for him towards the end. That's a good point. All right, so Eternal Newbie. And my understanding is kind of new to this community. Maybe was playing this randomizer, but he has come up with some good results the last few weeks. So 3rd place finish for Eternal Newbie. Congratulations. And we still have a few others off stream that are still going, as well as our 4 featured runners on stream here.
The other runners that are still racing but are not featured right now: Centroid 4, sometimes known as Centroid 4-1, Tilo Tilo, and Tyrannex, or Tyrannex.
I see Amazing Toaster in the list as well. I don't know if he's actually running or just observing.
Has to be running at this point. I forgot about
Captain
Amazing
Green
Toaster.
7 as well was in a previous tournament. So he's in there as well. So yeah, we have quite the field. We had a lot of participation this week. Again, this is the last, basically almost like the last regular season race before the big tournament, which starts this Sunday. There's, I believe, at 8 p.m. this Sunday here on the Randomizer Network, we're going to have a kickoff party where we're going to find out who's matched up with who for the first round of the tournament. And so if anyone out there watching is thinking about signing up for the tournament, you got to do it soon. Sign-ups are going to be closing within a few days here, as we're going to be getting started with 5 Swiss rounds. It's going to be fantastic. I think 40-something, maybe almost 50 people have signed up for this tournament already. And we've all been looking forward to it for quite some time. And this is our last weekly race for a while, because this will be suspended during tournament time so that we can have more time to watch tournaments.
Please head to the link that was pasted in chat now. If you are unable to see chat, head to dq.challenge.com/DWR2018 and sign up today.
And Sparkover seems to be in the run from everything mode, and here's a werewolf, and she got away from the werewolf that time. Again, when you only have 70 agility, it is not a guarantee that you're going to be able to run away from a werewolf, and all it takes is one ambush or one failed run, and he can go with the wombo combo and put you down. So this is a stressful dive for these runners. It's not a guarantee that they're going to get there. So far, so good. Sparkover's on the bottom floor, and I believe she has not used any magic. Took one Dragon Lord breath to the face, but has some herbs to recoup, and she's halfway around. See if she can make it there this time without getting wrecked by another werewolf. And JJ also on 18. He is on his dive, and he is having trouble running from an Axe Knight. They're both on strength HP builds, so they only have 70 agility points to work with. Fortunately, the very toughest to run away from monsters such as red dragons and armored knights, I have not really seen them in Sharlock, because when you only have 70 agility points, you are going to have a lot of trouble running from a red dragon. But right now, here we go.
It is,
and she does use the death necklace. Sorry to cut you off.
All right, new stats are shown.
And 95 hit points on screen, although we have 96 shown in our stat window. 95 is dicey because, especially with only 85 defense power, you can get physical for 49, and you're going to be down in that high 40s, low 50s realm quite often in this fight. And she does not have a whole lot of extra MP to work with. At 141 attack power, it's looking like she's got about 2 extra heal mores to spare if she needs to do a double heal at any point. Like right now, she has only 48 hit points. She's going with the attack, and survives it.
This is a total gamble, because it's as soon as you get attacked once, you have to hope that you don't get hit for 48 or above.
Oh, like physical that. For 46.
Down to
again,
1.
he can actually physical you for 49 right now with these stats. So right now 51 is safe, and the other problem is your heal more will not always fully heal you either. So if you get down to 1 hit point, you might get a bad heal more roll and have to double heal anyways. So this is dicey, but she is doing what she needs to do, given the fact that she decided to use the death necklace.
I don't.
So
like
far, so
this.
good.
I mean, I'm
probably 2 or 3 hits away from winning. So let's see if she can get there. Exciting finish. And
what was
JJ is
putting
approaching
it.
Dragon Lord as well, and JJ is not using the Death Necklace, at least not yet. If he changes his mind, he could run away from the Dragon Lord one and reset this fight. He has done that in the past. He is going to reset the fight, and he is now going to use the Death Necklace. Oh my goodness. So here we go. We have two runners in very dire straits HP-wise. And Sparkover is one hit away, and there it is!
However, Sparkover is not in 4th place. Tilo took it away with an official time of 1 hour 59:18. We will get an official time very soon for Sparkover.
And not using the return spell, by the way, just running back to Tantegel Castle 8 steps away or something. And GG for Sparkover, the first of our featured runners. And just right at 2 hours even. My goodness.
That is, I mean, you gotta, I mean, I would be impressed with getting 2 hours exactly, but apparently enough people in the IRC chat where our racers are hanging out, they are like, rip the sub 2 hours.
I kind of feel like if you hit it exactly, it still counts. I don't know. I mean, you get bonus points for hitting it exactly. It's like hard to do that, isn't it?
I agree. Also, McGrew went to level 18. Let's pull up those stats.
Yeah, so the strength agility stats for level 18 are going to look different. Obviously, he's going to have a little bit of an advantage agility-wise. That'll give him a little bit of a better chance to run from some enemies, such as werewolves. But he is not going to have the option to use the Death Necklace. He's only at 118 hit points. Death Necklace would put him down into like the 89 to 90 realm. So if he wanted to go for it with these stats, he is going to have to do it straight up. And that is, with only 131 attack power, that is much more borderline than it was with Sparkover and JJ. So we'll see if he wants to. And so far, it looks like he is going for 19, as a matter of fact.
So apparently we are learning from experience. If you can handle the damage that Dragon Lord is doing, 141 attack power is all you need with these stats.
Yeah, it was definitely good as far as having enough heal mores to survive. It was just a matter of that HP was scary. I mean, 95 as an HP total is much better actually than 94, just because of the math of the way the Dragon Lord breath works. But it's still, you can get 2-shot and die if you choose to fight on 47 or 48 hit points instead of double healing. So JJ has done it, and he is going to wrap up in, let's see, which place is he going to be?
This will be 6th place, just behind Sparkover.
All right, GG for JJ Schmidt 77. He had a few challenges in that seed that he would probably be frustrated with. Some of his routing going and getting the Fairy Flute when it might not have been necessary, and not getting the Erdrick's armor until a bit later, among other things. Yeah, I think he full cleared the second continent when there wasn't really much over there. But, you know, he ran a solid race. He is going to do some damage in the upcoming tournament, I'm sure. So congrats to JJ. Good game for him. And we have 2 more featured runners and a few more off-stream as well. And this is interesting to me that the difference in builds is causing McGrew to gain an extra level before attempting his dive. That costs him a good 5 or 6 minutes as compared to his strength HP opponents here.
Alright, I haven't confirmed if Sparkover is able to join for an interview. JJ Schmidt has declined, but requested that I repeat his comment verbatim. I have to go find some ice to sit on now.
So he got kicked somewhere that hurt pretty bad a few times, apparently. That's what that means. And yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of challenges going on in this seed, from just lack of stats, lack of hit points, level 16 heal more, some of the locations being spread out, no towns near the castle. It was it was challenging, and on top of all that, you had werewolves and Charlock just wrecking people. Erdrick Sword at the bottom of Charlock Castle. So yeah, if we do get anybody in here for an interview, I expect a bit of of frustration. We'll see. But great race.
Did I miss Azrael pick up air? No, everyone has Erdrick Sword. Never mind.
By the way, if in theory, if McGrew actually did make it down to the Dragon Lord with these stats, it's not impossible that he could win here, because 118 hit points is enough to oftentimes get some double attacks, but he just felt that it was just not worth it. And only 1 power gained on level 19, which is just abysmal. Fortunately for him, the difference between 131 and 132 actually is significant. It requires, in theory, 1 less heal more. And now his stats are much more borderline. He's up to 94 for a max MP total. It's slightly less than what he would want to have at 132 attack power, but with the additional hit points, I think he's going to bank on the possibility of double attacks, and he's going to go for it here. It's pretty borderline, though. If he has to burn any heal mores on the way down, it's a problem. And the defense power is not going to allow him to defense break Dragon Lord 1, for example. So it's not a sure thing at this. This is a very borderline decision for McGrew right here. Let's see if he wants to go for level 20. Meanwhile, is Azrael Ravenheart fighting Dragon Lord 2 at level 16?
Yes.
That is going to be difficult. He is going to have to land a few hurt mores on him if he wants to do that, because he has several levels left to go if you're going to fight him in a traditional manner.
Also, it looks like this seed managed to claim a victim. Captain Green 7 has chosen to stop because he's out of time.
Yeah, that's a shame for Captain Green. I remember commentating a race that Captain Green was involved in the Chaos tournament that went like 3.5 hours, and he had to do the same thing. He was just like, I just can't play anymore. Totally understandable on a long seed.
Azrael went for the YOLO Hurtmore, did not land it.
I guess so. You're saying there's a chance. I'm not sure if he had enough, if he had done enough damage for that to work out for him. But yeah, he's going to have to grind some more levels. McGrew looks like he has decided that he's going to give it a shot here at 19. And as we mentioned, he's going to have to really not burn any heal mores on the way down. And he's going to have a favorable Dragon Lord 1 fight, not get ambushed by Dragon Lord 2. So this is not a sure thing, but he's going to give it a shot. I suppose if he fails here, he might go for 1 more level. Yeah, so let's see how this progresses as he makes his way down. He does have a better chance of running away because of his agility stats than JJ and Sparkover had, so that's to his advantage. Azrael, taking a long look at his stats, maybe he miscalculated.
No, he calculated.
His ability.
He calculated it right and chose to stop his run. His comment: not going to 17 in this garbage.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That was a challenging seed. There's just not a great place to grind. Now at 16, he did have heal more, and I think he does have the Erdrick Sword as shown there on his stat window. So the Stone Man grind would have been a lot less painful if he had chosen to do that, but yep, all right.
So
perfectly understandable. Good race for Azrael Ravenheart. We'll look forward to seeing how he does in the upcoming tournament. I know he has also signed up for it, so good game to him. Good effort.
So to cover some administrative stuff, because this is late and a little longer than our typically allotted time here, we will watch McGrew go for 1 Dragon Lord attempt. Pass or fail, that is it. If McGrew takes out Dragon Lord, GG, we all celebrate. Otherwise, depending on if McGrew continues or not, we will send you over to his channel where you can watch him there and offer support. As far as upcoming schedule stuff goes, I believe tomorrow, it's not on the schedule yet, we're figuring out a time, someone within the Randomania staff wishes to demonstrate the Mega Man X Randomizer. I don't know an exact time, but look forward to that if that ends up happening. As far as what is definitely on the schedule, 6 p.m. on Friday, we will have a showcase race for Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer's new version, 2.03. And Saturday, we will have the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer weekly race at 9 p.m. And of course, don't forget, Sunday at 8 p.m. for the tournament kickoff.
Oh boy, we just got the Wombo combo from the werewolf on the bottom floor. And again, that was a kind of a borderline level. He wasn't going to want to burn heal mores anyway. And so now I wonder if he's going to try again or if he's going to grind one more level. Looks like he's going back in.
One more dive, and that's all I can allow.
So how are we doing on off-stream runners here? I'm trying to see how many we have left in the race here.
The other runners are Amazing Toaster, Centroid 4, and Tyrannex. So those are the only other ones. So yeah, we have official confirmation. McGrew is the last of the featured 4. Amazing Toaster and Tyrannex are still running this.
Yep. Okay, I see that now. So, all right, we still have a race here between McGrew and 2 of our off-stream runners, and you can imagine that those runners may also be failing dives and having trouble with the grind. So, let's see if McGrew can manage to get down to the Dragon Lord on this one without getting waylaid by a werewolf on the way. I hope he does, because I am kind of curious how it's going to work out for him with these particular stats. We're a little bit short on MP for him, but he does have some extra HP to be used. At 124, I would probably not like to see him use the Death Necklace. It would just put him too low. He would probably end up in the 92 or 93 hit point range with the Death Necklace equipped.
Well,
which is just too dangerous.
Let's find out. I'm going to activate it now temporarily for comparison purposes.
Alright, so our stats show he would end up with 93. Although I think Sparkover had 95 max and our tracker showed 96, so I don't know how the rounding necessarily works and all that in the game, but yeah, so he'd be somewhere around 92 or 93. That's just too low. It's just too much chance that you're going to have to double heal. But if he doesn't do that, then he will have a pretty good amount of room to work with to get some of those double attacks that we talked about. He would need a couple of double attacks, or, if he can just manage to get out of the Dragon Lord one fight with full health, that would help as well. That was actually a pretty quick dive for McGrew on this one. Managed to have a low encounter rate and ran nicely from the enemies, and he is approaching the Dragon Lord with a full stock of herbs to try and fish for that stop spell on the Dragon Lord one fight. Let's see if he can get through this fight with full health.
Is McGrew going to reset? No. Going to go Death Necklace free.
I like that play. I think it's the right move. And there is a stop spell. So if he can get him on this hit. Oh, I don't know why he used the herb there. I didn't like that decision. He had 104 hit points, which is enough to work with, but he does manage to... Oh, but he couldn't get him with that attack. Oh, man. All right, interesting. So he has 110 hit points going in, and let's see if he gets ambushed. No! All right. I would say advantage McGrew here. I think he's got a better than 50-50 chance of pulling this off from here. Well done.
So, this is the one run we're going to showcase here. Either McGrew gets it, we celebrate, or McGrew doesn't get it, we send you over to his channel, or McGrew doesn't get it, and he just chooses to stop. One of those three scenarios is going to take place.
Well, since there's runners off stream that he's still running against, I would think that he would keep going, but yeah, you never know at this point. It's getting frustrating. We're 2 hours, 15 minutes in, and he is fighting and healing and fighting and healing. Let's see if he can get a double attack somewhere in here.
Not with all these continuous fire breaths.
I didn't catch if he's gotten one yet, but if he hasn't, then he's probably an underdog now. If he could even just get one double attack, I think he would be home free. But let's see, he's getting a lot of single-digit attacks too. Another 8 there. This is dicey. I was not counting the damage, but I would say right now that this is close.
The way the formula works: take your attack power, subtract 100, divide by
another
2.
8.
Divide by 2 for your max potential, then divide by 2 again for your min potential.
Another 8! Oh, this is not good.
These are too many min hits at this point.
Oh, chance for a double attack if it's a low roll. No, not low enough for the Dragon Lord. Has to heal.
McGrew's going
Oh my gosh.
McGrew has to hurt more and hope for the best.
Oh, another 8. That's just devastating. I think he's going to have a death by low roll unless he gets a triple attack here at the very end. And he has a chance here. He has a chance for an extra attack here if... Let's see. Yes, one more attack. Is it enough? No! It was not enough. He got the one extra attack at the end. Still wasn't enough because of all those low rolls. He got low rolled to death on that one. That is unfortunate. I think he was favored to win that fight. And let's see if he wants to continue or call it here.
I think he's thinking about it. In the meantime, I'm going to reveal another little feature of this special system here. This may not show on stream, but I can actually pull up stats of the enemies if you want me to. So I can actually tell you how much HP Dragon Lord 2 had. According to Beta Strep, it was 154 damage was dealt. If you would like, for the folks at home, I will reveal the stats for Dragon Lord 2.
I think we're ready for that. We've seen enough battles against him. I don't think it would be too bad to reveal that at this point. What do you think?
I'm letting chat decide.
McGrew is taking a long time to think about if he wants to continue this. I think he's a little bit like thinking that he might have to grind another level, which would take a while.
Alright, I'm being told to reveal. If it wasn't due to the low rolls that took place, McGrew would have had it. HP 158.
Oh my gosh, that is just devastating. Yeah. So if all those are, I counted 4 or 5 8s in the last like 8 or 9 attacks. If those had all been just 10s, for example, he has it. And unfortunately, he got a lot of low rolls. I think, what did it show? He has 132 attack power, right? So his damage total is 8 to 16. So yep. 8 is the very worst roll that he could have, and he got several of those. So he did get the double attacks, or at least the one at the end. I'm not sure if he got any others. He really should have won that fight. That was very unlucky. So he's going back in with the same stats, choosing not to get another level. He feels like he was just pretty unlucky there, and I have to agree with him. So he's just going to go and try it again.
Alright, in this case, I'll give McGrew one more chance. Yes, I'll sacrifice my sleep tonight.
All right.
But
And
seriously,
that's a good opportunity for us to mention. Thank you so much, Wolfman, for the restream tonight. Our restreamers often don't get enough credit. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that has to be done to set up these the streams and to keep track of what's going on. And so thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll be doing many more during the tournament because we're going to need restreamers, I believe.
Well,
so thanks a lot.
Well, hopefully we also have trackers as well, because I've been doing everything tonight, and up to NG, I do thank you for the backup, because your knowledge in this has been tremendous. I'm better with giving out raw stats and sort of reporting it as it happens, but you have the better analysis here.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the community. Everybody that's involved in this are all excellent people, and I'm so excited for the tournament coming up. This is our last weekly race before this happens, and I feel like probably every single night coming up we're going to have head-to-head dual screen as opposed to 4-screen dual screen tournament races coming up in the future, with so many having to get scheduled every week in order to keep our schedule on track. I feel like we're going to have these go on every single night starting next week. So a lot to look forward to. I'm psyched.
And by the way, if any of you would like to assist with commentating, tracking, or restreaming, by all means, volunteer. We'll even help train you.
Yeah, for those early rounds, the 5 weeks of Swiss rounds, we are going to need a lot of a lot of commentators and trackers and restreamers. There's going to be a lot of races going on. But here we are on the bottom floor again for McGrew for perhaps the 3rd or 4th time he's been down here. And he also went down here for a sword dive as well. So I feel like he's had just about enough of Charlotte Castle at this point. Here's a werewolf.
Yeah,
but
remember,
gets away.
This is the developer of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, as indicated by the links. And even he is struggling on this seed.
Yes, McGrew is the great creator. He did it to himself. McGrew, you've done it to yourself, sir.
Well, it could also be said that I did this to him because I rolled the seed.
Yes. I've heard you've rolled a lot of challenging seeds over these last few weeks, is what I've been told. But I kind of enjoy the challenge rather than the sprints. Sometimes you get the early good stuff, and it's just like a sprint. I think those races are less interesting. This one, there was a lot more going on, and I think our runners did a great job of navigating it this time around. So congrats to everyone involved. Let's see if McGrew has better luck this time.
In the meantime, Tyrannex did choose to stop. So the only ones left are McGrew and Amazing Toaster. I don't know where Amazing Toaster is. I will actually attempt to pull that up now on the private end. In the meantime, here comes Dragon Lore 2.
I'm going to keep a count this time around, if possible. Let's see what we got going on. And unfortunately, it gets ambushed, which makes a pretty big difference. But we start with a 15, which is good.
Yep.
25.
Okay.
We're going to want 1 or 2 double attacks somewhere along the way here.
Amazing Toaster is facing Dragon Lord right now. Level 18, letter F. So, also Strength Agility. Interesting.
Alright, that's 48 damage right now for McGrew, I believe, unless I missed one. So it's looking a little dicey. It's possible I missed one. So 63. He really needs a double attack somewhere. He's not getting one because he does not have very good defense power. 72, I think. I'm not the greatest at counting these damages. But only 5 heal mores in reserve. 87 damage now. And there's a double attack. 99, that gives him a much better chance. If he could get one more of those, it would be helpful.
But may have to YOLO it.
He's had much better rolls, though. A lot of double-digit rolls. And can you still hear me, or am I offline? Because something just glitched for me.
What
Oh,
happened
here we
there
are.
was we had a stream buffer. It should be catching up now. So we may have missed an attack. We did miss a heal more, I think.
All right, well, I have 115, and I think an 8 makes 123. It's possible we missed one, but let's see. He can still do this if he's at 123. He's got 2 more heal mores. 136. He needs to get to 158, as revealed earlier. And...
Gets it!
Oh, we did miss an attack then. Boom! With room to spare that time. So that just shows you how unlucky he was earlier. He had a heal more in reserve, and he had 96 hit points when he finished that time. So congrats to McGrew for sticking it out. I got to give him credit for that. It's going to come in right around 225 on this seed.
That is correct. 225.01 is the official SRL time.
Very good. And you said that the other competitor was also fighting Dragon Lord 2, but he's on level 18.
That is correct. Amazing Toaster is going for a final shot, but no, gets defeated.
All right.
So
yeah, if he was on Strength Agility, level 18 seemed like it may not have been enough. It seemed possible, but unlikely to be enough. So he went for it, and unsuccessful.
Alright, with this in mind, we do need to try to wrap things up. Please give our featured 4 runners a follow. Amazing Toaster is still going to play on this seed, it looks like. So we are going to send everyone over there with some support. I don't exactly have a planned hashtag. I've already gone over the schedule, so up to NG, please take care of some goodbyes. As I will say, until next time, watch out for Dragon Lord Breath.
That about sums it up for me as well. Again, follow all our runners and our restreamers, commentators, everybody involved, and keep an eye out starting next week. In particular, we have the on Sunday at 8 o'clock, we're going to have a kickoff show for the tournament, and then we're going to have lots of races starting next week. So until then, have a good night, everybody. See you next time.